knows I'm no good. I'm a man with good intentions, just misunderstood. Every morning when you wake up, turn onto my side. Tell me just what do you see when you look into my eyes? Oh.
Cut the noise. Hi guys, and welcome to episode 4. As you can see, I'm using a more somber tone today because I'm just feeling a lot more peaceful, a lot more calm today, and also the topic is a lot more I don't know, like self-reflective. And so I'm excited to talk about it, and I kind of wanted to bring a calm energy to this episode. Don't forget that I'm gonna still be fun and whatever, but I did want to like kind of bring some seriousness to this episode because this is something I think that I struggle with a lot, and a lot of other people struggle with it as well. And I wanted to open this episode with me sharing a poem or some spoken word of some sorts to kind of introduce the topic to you and why we're talking about it today. And so I hope you enjoy. And this, I don't share my written thoughts a lot, but I thought this would be a really good time to do so. So here it goes. I used to think that to show my pain as a woman made me weak. So I hid that part of my poetry. I didn't give them a name, like a picture without a frame. I used to think that vulnerability would be the one thing that was able to kill me. To feel things deeply could never possibly free me. To work the hardest, go the farthest, to cry the most, to feel too much, to laugh too hard at jokes, to smile too much, to give too many hugs, to loudly push through my pain, to always worry about shame, to wear my emotions on my sleeve, to truly believe that people were like trees and they could grow. Weakness. Pain is weakness leaving the body, they said. I like to offer something different. When I believe I am weak, that's when I'm strong. To push through my illness but still go on. To cry the loudest shows the most strength. To let people in even when letting them in makes you feel like no one else can fit. Vulnerability creates the most strength because you allow people the chance to see your humanity. I used to think that to show my pain as a woman made me weak. So I hid that part of my poetry. Today, I found out I was wrong. So, as you can see and probably have figured out from that poem that's untitled, I really want to call it something on vulnerability or something, I don't know. But as you can see from that poem, this episode is about vulnerability. And I entitled this episode, When It's Time to Open Up. Because, oh my goodness, that is so hard. It is incredibly difficult. And in my adult relationships and adult conversations and interactions with other people, I've realized how difficult it is to allow people to completely see you, to see who you truly are, to see you with your flaws and your scars and your wounds and still say, this is me, take it or leave it. And it is really difficult to do that. And when I say like, this is me, take it or leave it, doesn't mean that you don't have room to grow. It just means like, this is where I am right now. And this is what I have going on. And it's really hard to be that vulnerable because of the fear of being hurt, the fear of being rejected, the fear of people you show somebody that who you are and then they reject that. They don't want that. They don't accept that. That's not what they thought you were. And so that is incredibly difficult. And within the recent like maybe 3 years, I've really had to deal with that constantly because I have been put on a pedestal a lot of times with relationships, with friendships, with everything. And I oftentimes have to remind people I am super flawed, and if you really got to know me, you would know that. But even in my flaws, I still see so much beauty, and I'm still trying to get there. Because with me, and I don't know if this is any of you out there, I feel things very deeply. I'm very passionate. I cry, which is like kind of like looked down upon these days. Like you're supposed to act like you don't care. And the truth is, I care about a lot of things. I care about people, and I care about people being happy, and I care about the people that interact with me regularly and making sure that we are in harmony. And when we're not, it really bothers me. So those are things that make vulnerability so difficult. So I want to talk about 3 things that will explain why I believe that it isn't really important to be vulnerable, and that how beneficial that really is. Like once you allow yourself to truly just be, and be okay, be content with whatever happens, because you were just being yourself. So I'm going to talk to you about 3 things. Three is such a holy number. So it is Sunday, so I want to remind you all that I love the Lord. But yes, the 3 things that I think will convince you or help you believe that vulnerability is important, especially if you are in the age range in the 20s. Y'all, the 20s suck. I mean, they fun or whatever, but Lord, it's like this trying to figure out how to be an adult, trying to figure out how to decide when something is good for you and when something's not, and it's all on you. You know what I mean? You can decide if you're going to pray about it. You can decide if you're going to listen to God. You can decide if you're going to, do whatever you're going to do, and that right there is difficult. So, number 1, like I said in the poem, vulnerability, that word is a tongue twister. Vulnerability shows people your humanity. It gives people a chance to see that you are just like them, and it makes life so much easier for people to see that you have stuff too. And they may think all these different things about you because of what you look like on social media, what you look like on Instagram, Twitter, all of that. You show social media to your best self. You're not finna show them when you sad and crying and stuff. That's very rare. But to be vulnerable does not always mean like I gotta show you every time I cry. It just means that you're open about what it means to be you. So show people your humanity, because when you do that, it gives them the ability, it gives them permission to live their life out loud. Number 2, man, vulnerability builds relationships. Man, you cannot be in relationship with people and not be vulnerable, because you'll never fully be in a relationship with them, whether it be friendships, whether it be romantic relationships. It builds relationships when you're vulnerable. As much as it may be difficult for you to say, like, that hurts me, I don't agree with that. That made me sad. That hurt my feelings. I care about you, so that didn't feel good. Those things are important, and it's difficult, especially in romantic relationships, because everybody wants to have the upper hand. And I remember somebody saying to me that the only way a romantic relationship could work is if the guy cares more about the girl than the girl does about the guy, because if it's not like that, then it's not gonna be. It's just like, why everything gotta be a game? Like, I would like to see people build relationships based off of vulnerability and just being open to that. And I know you've been hurt, so have I. But if you never open yourself up to the possibility of being vulnerable, then you'll never know what true happiness with somebody would look like, whether it be a friendship or a romantic relationship. And then the 3rd thing was, it provides a release. Being vulnerable provides such a big release for people. Like, when you're not being yourself, when you're not being vulnerable, when you're not open, it feels like a heavy weight on you, because you're trying to keep up a facade to make people think that you have it all together, that you know exactly what you're gonna do, you know exactly how things should go, and it's not true. I have more I don't knows about my life right now than I do I knows, to be honest. You know what I mean? And my pastor was just talking about it today, the doubt that we have in our lives. It fuels our faith in God, of course, but then our faith in humanity. Like, you can doubt. It's okay. to be anxious and to doubt. But in vulnerability, you release that doubt. You release that pressure because you're being you. You're living your true self out. You're saying when you're upset about something. You're explaining your viewpoint. You are having a conversation with the people in your lives about what really truly matters to you. So those three things, I believe, just really are the reason why vulnerability is so critical. And I hope that the spoken word or the poem, whatever you want to call it, at the very beginning of this kind of sparked your brain to think about how could you continue or start to be more vulnerable, because it will only support you. It doesn't mean you have to get on social media or blast all your business. That's not what it means at all. It means that you are thinking critically and being self-reflective and knowing how to express your emotions, your feelings, your thoughts, your dreams, your goals to other people. And knowing that it's totally okay to be vulnerable, because that's how you yield strong relationships in your life. That's how you yield that faith that you're looking for. That's how you yield that release that you're looking for. And that's how you show people your humanity. And I promise you, if you do that, somebody's going to believe it's beautiful and you'll form a new relationship because of that. Or somebody's going to see you and think that that is somebody that they want to be around. That is somebody that they want to be with. And it will only benefit you in the long run. And so, I end with just saying that you're amazing and that people should have the chance to experience how amazing you are. Don't shelter yourself off from the world because of pain that you've had. We already talked about what we do when it hurts. Okay? Now we're talking about what we do now that we've heard a little bit. We had some pain. Now we're going to open up. These episodes don't necessarily connect, but for some reason they get dropped on my spirit and just like, whoo, it's like the floodgates open. But with that being said, I'm just gonna jam out to this Daniel Caesar and I want you to feel with me what I'm feeling. I'm being open, you be open, and shoot, join me again for Kicking It with Key. I know I zoomed through this one. I was talking fast, but I just wanted to make sure I got all of that in there. Show your humanity, be who you are, cut the noise out in your life because you deserve some peace and quiet. And if somebody sees you being vulnerable, finds out who you truly are and doesn't want to be with you or doesn't want to be in a friendship with you or doesn't love you or doesn't see that, because I think that is the fear that we have, then you are better off without them, my dear. Trust me, I know. Cut the noise, Kicking It with Key. Stay tuned for episode 5. Tell me what you want to talk about. And that's all I got for y'all today. Love you, love you, love you. Bye. Gonna give you a little dance to get on, baby.